I think this is the first session that, okay, thank you for that. So this is the first session that you have with, no, okay, everybody in here has seen me in one session before, but I think this was my first GT session for the GT track. The only one that I did before was only for GV and also the ICX version in the house AP is doing. So anyways, yeah, super excited to be here facing everybody in GT in that way. And then we're going to kickstart for the performance management for the whole of GT. So I guess you'll be very excited to know about how to do performance management, and performance management would also be a very huge chunk of your MCVP life. And then I also remember, like, I have this feedback of to talk slower, so I'll try my best to do so. But if I'm still like very fast, let me know in the chat box, and I'm always looking at the chat box, no worries. And if you have questions, like, again, ask in the chat box, it's all cool. Cool, okay. I'm moving on in then performance here for GT, and my name is Serafina. I manage mostly IGT and IGV and also BD, but basically I also handle GT a lot, and I was previously a OGT as a member as well. So that is who I am, and welcome everybody. So what are you going to get out of here? Just now already covered like basically as performance management is a huge chunk of your MCVP life. But actually being an MCVP product, especially GT, you're more or less like a role in a product manager. And so in here, I'm trying to explain like a little bit more, let's say like how to ace the role, because apart from what we perceive as what an MCVP GT needs to do, there's actually more to that. And how can we dissect it out, and actually how do we ace it? It's something that I wanted to talk about in this session. And how to set key metrics for managing operations, that's always very important. I'll explain later on. And how to do better stakeholders management, and later on I'm going to cover for that. So with that being said, I'm going to kickstart this session. And of course, I know like I need some answers. So why are you here? And what do you think about performance management? Don't tell me because you have a session in the Google like the web page, so that's why you're here. Why are you here? Like, what do you want to know about performance management? Are you struggling with it or something like that? So write something in the chat box. I want to see. I have to record and remind Sarah to speak slower. Yes, that is very true. But that is not performance management yet. To focus on our MOS, okay, Anubhav, always the A student in here. True. Performance management is focusing on what is our measure of success, definitely as an organization, and how can we make sure that we are actually achieving what we set out to, including our vision as well. From Arush, we have managing operations efficiently, that is performance management. And then Roth, we have to know that my commission are doing our jobs. Also true, that is also a very important part of your JD, is making sure the whole commission is doing their job as well, so that your job is actually making sure that they're doing their job. And from Anubhav, ensuring consistent work front. True, all very true about performance management, but there is actually more to that. Why would I say that? Let me play a little game with everybody. So later on, you have the reaction. So I'm gonna like demonstrate very quickly. Can I demonstrate? I don't think I can demonstrate. So anyways, so you can, in the reactions, you'll be able to see like all the emojis. So you can give me tick emojis, whether it's a green one or whatever that you can think about. So I will be looking at your faces. And if you agree with the cases later on that I say that you think it is effective, give me something with green. And if you think that it is ineffective, then give me something in red. Then I'll be able to see everybody's like your reaction and all of that. So is that cool? Easy to understand, right? I think so. If it is not, then I'll be worried. But anyways, cool. Then I'll move forward. For the first scenario, so what is happening? So you can read, but I will also read it up for you. So basically for in this case, so basically it's peak season and you're very frustrated with the performances. Your LCs are prospecting in sales, and also I say like they're doing like lead nurturing and like doing a lot of marketing activities to have leads. And there is something happening in spreadsheets, so you know that people are doing something. So you see there are changes in spreadsheets, but you're not seeing results. So let's say that your results is to see applications and approvals, but there's none of that. But you see like people are doing things, so you cannot really say that they're not doing anything. But however, like even with all of those happening, there is like so few like deals that are closed and also like so few approvals, that is what you really wanted to see. And when you ask like what is the problem, what is happening, basically your LCVP were reflecting to you is that, okay, members are reflecting that the partners and the young peoples are not interested in going to experience this later on because of COVID, so we shouldn't run the product, and oh my god, and everything. And what you decided to do afterwards is that you feel very frustrated and everything, so you decided like the peak has to go on no matter what because the show must go on, right? And then you need like your entity needed that performance for sustainability, and you decided to push harder for sales performance to happen with daily goals, personal goal achievements, and you want to deduce the product as lack of motivation from membership. If this is the case that you would do, let's say that it's not asking you how would you deal with it, but then like, do you think that this way of doing, is it effective or ineffective? Like show me green if it is effective, red if it is ineffective in your reactions, so that I'll be able to see.
Sarah, I just have one doubt. How do we show the green and red thing? Can you just explain that part once again?
Okay. It's in the reaction. Let me show it once. So let's say that if in the reaction, then you click the 3 dot dot dot, and so basically you can go into the emoji, and if you have an effective, then you give me something green like this.
Got it.
And if it is not, then you can give me something red like this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. So you can let me know so that I will also be able to see how you guys are thinking about this way of managing. Or if you have a better suggestions, and you can also type it in the chat box. I think ineffective for Jaslyn. You want to explain a little bit why?
Yeah, okay, I can try. I think like from what I understood from the situation, can you hear me, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I think one perspective that I had on this was like when the VPs are saying that members are reflecting that the partners' youths are not interested because of COVID, right? So after this, I feel that the way forward that this person took, like, I mean, whoever this hypothetical person is, I feel that it's not really targeting, I mean, not really doing something about this issue, right? Like, they're not really trying to understand that why members are feeling that way. And I mean, they're just taking this as something that's happening, and they're not really trying to understand if there might be some other reason, and why this is happening. Like, if even if they feel this way, then why is it so, and what can we do about it? Like, I feel there was no way forward as such, but I mean, what they just started doing was just maybe being stricter with the way they were tracking the tasks and stuff, which, like I said, I feel that, I mean, it's not really leading to any solution as far as I can see. So yeah.
Okay, that's a very good explanation, and that's also true. But then let's say like what would be the way forward? Anubhav, do you have anything to add for that?
I think Jaslyn covered most of it. I just wanted to have how this wasn't a solution-oriented approach as such, and it was just conclusion based on certain points. We did not take all the data points into consideration as well. I think, yeah.
Okay, understood. Yeah, thank you, Anubhav, for that. And I see a few more of you guys also wrote that it is ineffective, but anyone have anything that you can propose that would be a better way of dealing with this? Like, I think people who mentioned it's ineffective, we have Angel, we have Rod, I think it's Sabina and all people. Like, do you have a better way forward? Like, if you were the MCVP in this situation?
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure this might be effective or ineffective, but since like it's written here, right, the members are reflecting that partners and youth are not interested because of COVID. So one of the major objective, like one of the major task of any members that we have in our commission is to interact and each to like talk to all the youths and partners and engage in different kind of activities, which helps in product promotion on all that stuff. But since they are not finding it relevant, or since they do not have any measure of success right now, so to measure that only and to keep that motivation alive in the group, I think we need to have a certain way forward to check on assigning like it's written here, the person goals, and whether they are achieving those person goals or not in times like this, like in this COVID situation. So where we do not have any, where we cannot do anything about this pandemic itself. So inside this organization for the membership and the commission development only, like this might be the way forward, but I'm not pretty much sure. So yeah.
Okay, like no worries. Like it's also a very valid way forward. I really appreciate that sharing from Sabina as well. And definitely like looking it out, having the conversation is always one way to move forward. And to be honest, there is no perfect answer for this because every single entity, every single commission and every single entity has a different culture, has a different way of how things would work. So if you are facing in this situation, based on your entity, what would be the best solution is something that you have to think because there is no answer for that. And from Jesslyn, like you also wrote, like I think they can focus on what can be improved in their own internal processes and that are more under control, which will eventually help with the results too. And that's also true. Okay, so moving on from case one, we have one more cases. So the same process, like if you agree, then put it, like if you think it's effective, give me something green. If you think it's ineffective, give me something red with your reactions. So for the second case, what is happening is that like you have identified some low performing LCBPs and also memberships like by your trackers and tracking what is the membership doing. And you have offered a lot of education like capacity building and also like offered feedback, but seems it actually really didn't help them achieve better because the result actually didn't improve. So Isaac in some form, like to you, is only a student organization, a student club. They are all students in some way. That's like if you think about like they're low performing and then at first like people are telling you like you have to let go of these people who are like low performing. Letting go of them like seems very weird because they're just a student organization and they're not really your employees and you're not really paying them because the only one who is getting paid is you. So what you decide to do is that like there is not a lot of things that you want you could do and you can only just hope for the best and wait for the next performance appraisal to feedback them again in that way. So what do you think about? Is it ineffective or is it effective? But what is the way out of it as well? So ineffective from Sabina, from Anubhav, and also from Angel, also from Rod and Simra, and anyone with, let's say, like what you want to say about it, or like anything that you think that it will be a better way out, like if you are given the situation, if you're in the situation.
Can I add something here?
Sure.
For this, like what Jasleen mentioned in the first case, we should actually understand why the LCVP and why the members are not working. Like yes, providing education and feedback would be like is a great option, but actually understanding like what is the main reason for them not to work and like working on that. So how much effect we have to input and how much impact that the effect creates. I think that should be something that we need to focus on. So. Yeah.
Yes, that is also very true from Sabina. From Pensuja, like it can be effective, should give a chance first. You want to explain more?
Yeah, actually, like as previously said, because like we have to understand why they are doing it, why their performance is going low, and like find the reasons for this, and like communicate with them and like try to solve the problem. It's always not the solution to drop the person and find another one is not always the best solution. Like if we can stay with the person, if we can empathize with the person and understand and find a solution and continue forward, that I believe that the connection between that person and us will be much more like positive, and the outputs may have the chance to be positive. So after giving the chance, then again this is happening continuously, then it can be the like our decision to drop the person and go forward. But I think we should like wait and see. Yeah.
That's also very true. Thank you for that. I think from Cheryl, you also mentioned there is probation period. That is also one way of handling the situation as well. Like a lot of different entities, like if you have disciplinary measures, like some entity actually do have disciplinary rules and everything. Like if the entities like if the membership cannot fulfill something like that, they will have like certain consequences. The way that they keep that discipline in that way. But different entities, like again, like with different culture, it doesn't necessarily. It's not a universal solutions that work with everybody. It might work for some entity, but does it really work for your entity? You have to think for that situation. And from Simra, and in this situation, we first need to identify the problem they're facing and the reason why their motivation is low. That is also very true that we look for the why first. And from Jory is also ineffective. And from Rod, I think it's 50-50. We can give a pause at first, but not too long. Having clear expectation on how to get back on track and review and set out new strategies and JDs for better performances. That's also very true. And one more point to add onto the 50-50, it's also membership would affect each other, because people that are linked together, if they see one person that is okay to slack behind, the other people, they might also think that, okay, it's also fine if I'm also slacking behind a little bit, and it might bring down the team performances as well. So no matter, like, we are looking for the why, that is the best case scenario that we are starting with, but even more, we need to also be very strict with the things that we wanted to set an example with, and that is also just a reminder about that on that way. So thank you so much for everybody like participating in this first 2 exercise. So I hope that you are a little bit more energized, so it's not just me talking in the whole session, and then we also have some scenarios to make things more clear towards what is happening in this session and what we're referring to. So in general, what is performance management? It's a holistic people management in some sense. So in this session, I will break down the whole performance management into a few things. The first thing of performance management itself, it's a people management, because generally MCVPs, of course, you handle operations, but you're no longer that person who talks to the EP, who talks to the partners, maybe talk to some like national partners or something like that. But other than that, most of it is actually done by your LCVPs and members and your team leaders. So there's at least like 2 to 3 layers below you that is actually doing the groundwork, but then it may not necessarily be you. So basically what we're only doing is managing people. So how does we do like people management well? So the first thing first that is very important is that we need a process that really contributes to effective management of individuals and that achieve the organization performances. That's very self-explanatory. That is what people management and how it's linked to performance management. But the other thing that is even more important is that we should there should be a shared understanding between you and your commission, your LCVPs with them, team leaders and membership, is what is the goal that they wanted to achieve. Not just our goal. Like, we will always have a goal after our planning about, okay, this is how much approvals I want, this is how much opportunities I want to have. But what about the membership goals? What do they actually wanted to achieve within their experience in ISAC? What does the LCVP want to achieve with their term as well? So if there is common ground between the goals that you're working to, and that also involves the operations, then you have a common ground that everybody is willing to strike for. But when the very start point, you have very different things that you really want to achieve, then you may also even want to consider again is, are these people in your team the right fit, the people that you may be needing? So in that case, so if it is not in that way, then you may need to make like different adjustments, talk to different people to make sure that people are actually aligned to what they really want to have during their term, and they sign up for the right kind of experiences as well. And so yeah, like, it's about like reaching a common goal. And the other part is also developing people. So in a very simple sense is, what does the people, like they say in ISAC, apart from working for ISAC and working with ISAC in that sense, what do they also want to equip themselves with in this year, like working in this product? Are we taking care of their personal growth in that way? So that is also a very common things when you talk about employment. Like, what keeps good employees staying in a great company is when companies are actually taking care of them personally, not just talking about, let's say, like how much are they paying them or something like that, but even more, are they taking care of their personal growth? Are they growing with the company, or they are just working for the company? There's a very big difference between that, and that is slowly how people differentiate different workspaces as well. And we have the chance to decide how ISAC as a workplace itself could be, and make use of that very well as well. So the next part is, how do you have effective management? Let me click everything first. So basically in here, you need to find a mesh, it's very explanatory. In between ISAC and also personally, just as what I was saying, you need to find a common spot about where is the common achievements that you wanted to find, what is the common values that you all both uphold. That could be a team culture, and also what is the personal goals that both of you wanted to achieve. And with that, you should come up with the accountability practices and how the performance management actually comes into, and also with a good PDP plan. So in one way is that, remember, as a performance management and also as an MCVP product, never forget about your team standards and your PDP as well. And that is where results actually meets development and how fast growth is actually happening. Because if you want every single person to give their 200%, we also need to show them that we care about them 200% for them to give in their very much 200% as well. So yeah, with that being said, again, all of these are very basic things. So things not to do is have unclear job descriptions, little coaching from their leaders, like from you guys, and unfair accountability practices. Let's say that you are not consistent and all of them actually put into it. People have eyes and they will look, and lack of opportunities for development. And sometimes even like just a very small examples. If you are doing something really cool, like bring in your LCVPs. Like bring them to see somewhere like that is pretty cool to let them know, okay, these are also developments that you are able to see and how could they develop like bit by bit. It does not necessarily need to be everything that is planned out. It could be something that is spontaneous, that you are thinking about that their development, and that is what is important. So what you should do is set clear expectations, of course, between each other, and foster the continuous improvements in between your LCVPs or commission and also you, and have a customized accountability practices and inspire people to perform at their best and also empower people in that way. So for the next part, because later on you will have the slides and I will send it to you and everything, because the slides is also very informative. So I will not go through in the next 4 slides because they're basically teaching you how to do skills-based performances to professional improvement. These are actually slides that taught me when I was MCVP. These were like from IC 18-19 slides of personal performance management, but I'll just attach it in here so that you guys are remembering what is the process of performance management, what is the elements of engagement that you'll be needing, and what are the things that you need to fulfill for basic needs to individual needs to teamwork, team needs, and all of them. Basically, they are the Maslow hierarchy of needs that you'll be able to see. So with that being said, I just skip through it and later on you can go back and read about it. Still have a read about it before you start try to step onto your commission. And remember, in your planning, don't just plan for your goals, also plan for how you're going to do network management. Because as an MCVP, the other thing is that 70% of your job should be actually about performance management and how you're managing people in that way. So after we have talked about, okay, MCVP, performance management, you're managing people. The other part of it is being a product manager. So what is a product manager and how do you ace it? That is also my question for you. Like, to you, what do you think is a product manager? Like, if you could like give me some answers in the chat box. Product manager is responsible for the overall development of the product. True, that is a definition of product managers. Anything more? Anything more? And he or she is responsible for all the activities and creates strategies for the product to grow in the market. That's also true. From Angel, they might need to evaluate the conversion and the process on how to drive for more performances. That is also part of a product manager role, true. Someone who sets direction for the product. True in some way, but then not necessarily all of it as well. So yeah, we have some answers about what is product manager. So all of you have some kind of understanding about product manager in some sense, like who said everything about the product interface in terms of development, attraction, and need resources. Kind of true, but there's actually more to that. So basically in a product manager, what you actually do is product innovation. Let's say like new features design, how does the product itself actually be designed? How is the product launch look like? Product launch doesn't necessarily mean that you're launching a new product. It could be a feature launch. It could be something like, in Isaac terms, partly remote launch, BPP launch, and or you have some kind of new opportunity that is upcoming with these products that is a launch. That is also a part of the product launch. Product reviews that you have to do, like what is the process? Is it making sense? Is the conversion making sense? Is the process time making sense? And for that. Product performances, whether it's the product doing kicking in its MOS, or are we measuring the right kind of way? Are we measuring the right metrics in product performances? That would be very crucial. Product directions, especially with roadmaps, like how the product looks in like 3 years, or what is the new product ideas that could come into place that could actually improve the product. Product adaptability to the market, like is the product designed in a way that it can be able to adapt to the different trends happening externally, or is there another thing that needs to be re-innovated again? So these are some summarization about usually what a product manager does. Yeah. And just on a side fact, I'm just going to sidetrack a little bit. So when you're putting your title on LinkedIn about your MCVP role, if you write MCVP, most likely people don't know what is MCVP apart from people in Isaac. And with GT, it means that you're exposing yourself to the external world. So remember in your LinkedIn, either you write your let's say like just write you're a product manager usually, or you can do a talent specialist if you're IGT or something like that. Just on a side note, like that really helps. Understanding what is product manager or something like that, this would on a side note for that. So I know like all of you will be adding it into your LinkedIn somewhere. So yeah, okay, bring back myself to this topic, like for that. So of course, in Isaac way, like we are not like all other product managers. Let's say like we don't make all the decisions on NC level as well, like or even in auto level. A lot of the product directions are made in AI. Let's say like planning remote is made by them, by them. But then like I want to give you some brainstorming time, but it doesn't mean that there is nothing as an AMC product manager that you can do. So I want you to think in 1 minute, like put away like all the definitions of the product manager, not necessarily put away, but then I compare with both of them. What are the things that you can do as an MC level product manager, as an Isaac MC product manager? What are the things that you can do? I'll play music for 1 minute and then let me know some answers in the chat box. I would love to see.
커버린 걸칫거리 outsider 걸음걸이 옷차림 이어폰 넘어 playlist 음악까지 다 minor 넌 빠르지 넓은 고개 위 환한 빛 조명이 어딜 비추는지 내려도 전이 결국 알게 되길
Okay, we have 1 minute. Can I have some answers? Like, what can we do as MC regionally as a product manager? Apart from pushing for performances. Can you have some creative answers?
Yeah, can I go, Sarah?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I think one thing we can understand, so when AI or something, all the value proposition or everything which is created on a global level. So according to our country requirements or something, we can work on creating why are customers or clients actually buying our product in our country. That is something we can decide which fields are actually working out, deciding and focusing on those industries and field. I think these are few things which we can actually do, and which are the industries which are growing in the country and focusing on those segments. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Anubhav. That's also true. And then we have people writing in the chat box from Cheryl. We can tweak how we communicate and carry out the product to fit local market demands. That's also very true. But then like you can also think about that as only part of the marketing and network management that could also be done with your LCVPs. Then what is the most important thing as an MCVP? The power that you have as an MC to do that. That you can think about in that way. From Mahmoud, And then I think we can decide what product to sell in MC level to deliver the insights to the region for the product development, also solutions for some issues that the MC can overcome. That's also true. Like understanding what is the things that, like, what is the market trend in your country, in your city as well, like, and what is the insights that you have and what is the solutions for that. Like that is talking about how do you help with the product adaptability and also its performances in that way. And if you have new product innovations that would come into place for your entity in that scenario. Yeah. From Arush, we are setting directions aligned with the vision of AI according to your own region, developing strategies and guiding your commissions to run the product effectively and efficiently. Yes, that will be a very good product performances. But of course, there is actually more to that apart from product performances, is how do it makes the most sense to your entity, and how does it like maximize the amount of impact that it was supposed to have? Because the way that it is run, it would affect how much impact that it is showing in that way. So from Jasleen, we have product packaging, picturing. Oh, okay. Jory, yes, my apologies. So product packaging, pricing review, refine our processes as long as everything is aligned. That's also true. And from Simra, we can prioritize everything accordingly to our national reality. That's also a very simple way of putting it in that way. So yes, in that way. So like those are very good ideas, because one thing that I was actually very scared is that you actually think that, like, my biggest worry is that, like, if MC come into the term and the first thing that they say is that, okay, AI decides everything lah, and so there's nothing that I can do, so I'm just like following through what they decided. I hope that is not in the mindset, because to be honest, MC, you have like, what you really need to look into is what are the things that you have in power with and how to maximize that. So those are something that I hope that with this session, like, it would help you to understand that as well. So we are not just robots to boost performances. Like if my experiences with being a product manager on MC and also in regional level, one thing that I learned is to own the product and to love the product. And when you love your entity and love your product, one thing that you would be able to do is to thrive with the product for your entity as well in there. So it looks like closing message, but of course it's not, because we have some more, let's say, like technical things that we have to cover, because we are GT people, right? Like we're very realistic. So the next thing is, like, the most important thing about performance management is always finding the right metrics. That is the most technical thing that we need to do, apart from people management, apart from product managers and all of the roles that we need to know, is to find the right metrics so that we can do good performance management. And below, I will actually how much time do I have? Okay, I'm running a little bit low on time, so I'm going to skip this question. So I hope that you are writing down in your notebook is that what are the metrics that you're tracking, and are they actually effective in that way for you to understand, let's say, like, what are the metrics that you have, because later on we will go into this part. Okay, so remember, as metrics for GT, they must be measurable, they must be easy to obtain. One thing that we see as a problem when people set the right metrics is that, like, when people are setting metrics, is that they've set metrics that are very hard to be measured. So let's say, like, I want to see the young people all switch into GT, like they become very motivated after their experiences. Those are very intangible things for you to measure. So what does it mean is that, like, you will spend a lot of time to measure that. It doesn't mean that it's totally cannot be measured. Like, I'm not saying in that way, but it means that you would take a lot of time to just obtain the data, and it doesn't make sense, because your focus should be in how do you boost these performance management, how are you talking to people about it, and how do you have the right metrics that help you evaluate the things that you have been doing, whether does it make sense or not. So it should be easy to obtain as well. So don't do anything that is very hard to track in that way, because you will draw a trap for yourself to drop into it. And we actually see a lot of MCVPs doing that. So just remember, don't do that. And it should be directly related to your MOS. That's very self-explanatory. So cool. What is the exact metrics that we will have? So why did I say that I will send you the whole slides? Because later on, this one will link you to another Google Classroom that to a PDF about IGT metrics and also OGT metrics. But I'll just go through the IGT metrics very quickly first. So for IGT metrics, most importantly, is not just to understand what metrics. The second thing after, like, the metrics is what is the routine of tracking these metrics. So let's say that for IGT, like with partners, they're definitely very important. Like, how are you doing the conversions? How are you tracking conversions? How are you tracking numbers? How are you tracking the process time? And with young people, like also what is the conversion numbers and process time, and how is the standards actually being delivered, and how is the LC to LC contribution actually happening? So those are for IGT in the metrics that you will be tracking a lot. And especially also don't forget, apart from tracking the funnel and all of them, always track your profitability, your budget execution, your strategy implementation, your SOP implementation in that way. So there is actually a lot of things that you should be, that would provide you, like all of these metrics will provide you with an overview of how are you managing this product, not just in number scale, but also in sustainability scale as well. As for OGT, then what does it mean is that like OGT, what are things that you can track? There's also a lot. You're starting to track from operations to your marketing synergy with your B2C, let's say your funnels, your conversions, your numbers, your process time, per work viewed, per duration, per JD, per IR partner, what is the standards, what is the NPS, what is the IR distribution, how is the LC to LC partnership actually happening. And also with when you're working with B2C, then you also need to track every single funnel. Let's say that your Facebook post, your advertisement, to your offline marketing activities, if you still have that, how much leads is it generating to you, and how much of these leads are actually generating to opens, or even opens into OGT that is driving the leads and all of them. Those are things that you have to track to make sure that you know how the leads are flowing in your system, and making sure that your goal is happening in that way. And then of course in metrics and OGT, there is also talking about profitability, budget execution. That is always the true things for IGT and OGT. And with that being said, I hope that I cover like I will send you the slides right after in here. So right now I'll move on to one part, is that I want you guys to have some working time. So that's why I will give you 10 minutes. I think we have 10 minutes. So I want you to go through, if you're IGT, then go to the last two IGT slides later on. It's plan out how do you want to track these routines. So let's say that for funnel, are you going to track it weekly? Are you going to track it with your people? How are you going to manage these with your people as well? Like, so you're doing stakeholders management within like how you're tracking these metrics as well, and also with OGT. And if you want to track on wait, okay, oh my god, okay, so if you also want to track on, let's say like exactly what is happening in there, I need more support, then you can always click on this link and it will drive you back to the drive you back into the IGT metrics and all of those resources in there. So yeah, I'll give you 10 minutes and you can just stay here and also like start drafting your routines. And if you are with your MC mates, like your synergy partner in here, then you can also talk to them like over phone, to talk to them about, let's say like how do you want to do this together, like how can you do this in a more easier way in that sense, so that you're not pushing yourself to do everything by your own. Then that is also something that you can consider in that way. So if that is clear and cool, then we can start the 10 minutes. If it is not, then shout my name and then I'll be able to answer your questions. Okay.
Myself today, all work, no time to play. I'm holding on to what I know. Then this discovery, blindfolded I could see, I'm catching on by letting go. And now I'm rising up, no coming down. So hang on for the ride. Look how high we can fly. Look how high we can fly. We can see everything from up here in the sky. We've got the perfect view, together me and you. Look how high we can fly. Words come so easily, hard to believe it's me. With every breath the feeling grows. Take time to make time stop. Unplug, turn off the clock.
玩唐三，無啦啦煲極都會砌兩個飯。人哋跳江山，我就瞓到晏，唔願發現肚腩圓，日日有嘢玩。尖東官涌、東涌、西貢，灣仔金鐘都有新觀眾。早午晚淨係玩，我冇困難，唔願變退休宅男，伴你全人類。
It's okay, and you shouldn't blame yourself for that as well, for that. But then the other thing is that like being a product manager also pushes you to always achieve for your best that you can offer, because with operations, of course, there will never be an ending point which you just achieve your goal and then you are done. There will always be a bigger goal that you wanted to achieve, and in a way is that there will always be room for improvement, a room for excellency. Don't push yourself too high, but too hard in a way that you burn yourself out. That isn't worth it. But in a way, it also pushes you to how to always keep a high standard and how to work with people with high standards as well. Because that is also a very important skills that you want to have when you are working in external world afterwards, is how do you work with people and still maintain high efficiency, even if those people may not necessarily work with you, like really working click with you in that way. So that is also what a product manager taught me in performance management. It is a very routine work, but in these routine works, you also have a lot of learnings coming out from that. No matter how do you like work with people, no matter how do you keep up standards, no matter how do you motivate different people, those are very tangible things that you can get out of this organization, apart from just sales skills and all of them. So with that being said, I wish you all the best. From this point onwards, with performance management, with commission management, with people management, and also with how do you grasp the power of your entity to make your product shine in your own country and also in your own city in that way. And thank you for joining this performance management session. And I think I have to send you back to the next one. ABM is Harvest Learning, something like that. I think so, or let me check. Yeah, it's in 5 minutes you will have Harvest Learn. So yeah. Yes, okay, so thank you everybody. I will see you again in the next time in the next GT track. Thank you. Bye bye.